Welcome to another episode of Video Game Reviews. And today we're going to be talking about Wallachia, Reign of Dracula on the Nintendo Switch. So I'm going to stop myself right there. I think it's actually pronounced Wallachia, Wallachia, but I don't like that, so I'm going to call it Wallachia. So anyways, what's the deal with this game? So if you are a regular viewer of the channel, you're going to know that I have, like a fair number of gamers out there, I have a particular affinity for Castlevania and really any game that is kind of gothic or dark themed, not necessarily horror, mind you, not necessarily like survival horror games. I mean, some of those are okay too, some of them are even really quite good, but that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about like a Castlevania game, a action-adventure style game with just kind of a darker theme, kind of a monster movie type of vibe to it. And so that's kind of what we have here. So the question is, coming from that sort of background with those games that do appeal to me, how does Wallachia stand up? And the answer is, it kind of doesn't. Yeah, so I mean, to cut to the chase, as I do in these videos, and honestly, I know it's probably not a great strategy, but a lot of times I'll come right out front and say, is this game worth it or not? And then I'll go into greater detail. And so, like, I recognize that's maybe not the greatest strategy for getting people to watch your videos, but I don't care, that's what I want to do. So, anyway, the answer is no. No, this game is not worth it. I don't know that I've even seen it go on a sale, but even if it were on sale, I would still say no. No, it is not. So it plays, it's been described fairly accurately, I guess, as sort of a game that looks like Castlevania, sort of, but plays more like Contra. And that's kind of accurate, but it's not nearly as good as either of those games. So even as someone who felt like, ooh, I gotta check that out because it reminds me of Castlevania, you actually don't. You totally can pass this one right by. So hopefully I just saved you a few bucks. So what don't I like about it? You can kind of get a sense just from looking at the game that I can't figure out exactly what it is. It's not the worst hit detection in the entire world, but I feel like something with the hit detection is maybe just a little bit off. The animation seems, in certain ways, like certain animations seem a little stiff and clunky, and I feel like those two words pretty much describe the entire game. But more than that, my biggest issue with the game, I think, is it's truly old school. And you know me, I love old school. I love old school games. But it's truly old school in the sense that it expects you to repeat pretty long segments of the game if and when you die. And I'm just not a fan of that. Like, I've reviewed on this channel games that are, in a way, like, technically much more difficult than this, but they have frequent checkpoints. And that really makes all the difference in the world to me. This game is old school in the sense that it does not have frequent checkpoints, and when you bite the dust, you have to repeat a lot. That might be something that would be tolerable if it were like an amazing game, but it's not an amazing game. It could be improved with checkpoints, and then it would be a better game than it is currently, but you know, it is what it is. I feel like some of the sound effects as well feel kind of cheap and amateurish to me, and that's really the feel of this whole game. Now, again, if you watch this channel, you know I love indie games. Love them. But this game, it just feels like a fan game. It feels like something that somebody made at home, which, I mean, it is. And there are fantastic games. There are like some of my favorite games were made in somebody's home. You know what I'm saying? They're very homemade. But this is not one of them. It's just not that well executed. You know what it reminds me of? Like the look of it, and really almost everything about it, in a weird way, reminds me of, and this is going to be an obscure reference, I think, for a lot of you, but something like Galahad on the Genesis. Okay, so Galahad on the Genesis is just like, it's not like the worst game I've ever played or anything, but it's just a little clunky, and other than that, kind of unremarkable. And that's what we have here. Alright, well look, man, I don't want to spend too much time on this. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, but thanks for watching. I appreciate all you guys. Please like and subscribe and hit the little bell thing, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.